Good morning. Apologies for the slight delay. Today is the 30th of January 2025 and I'm going to go through today's levels on watch. Before I start, let's look to see what news could move the market later. So 10 a.m. we do have home sales. That gives it 2 out of 3 for volatility. We did have GDP growth and jobless claims at 8:30. And I'm not sure how that affected the market. Let's have a quick look. So I've not really looked at charts today. So we had a green, bit of an indecision candle from that, more red than anything, and then we had a follow through with green, but hasn't really done a great deal. Okay, so that's it for today. Just keep an eye on 10 a.m. We may see a bit of price movement, a bit of volatility, and then tomorrow at 8:30 we've got a few in the morning as well. So let's start off with the ES time frame, and I was just quickly tidying up some of the charts and just redoing my supply and demand zones. So let's do this one here. That's our current area of demand, and we've got our supply zone, quite a big area down here. So we'll put it in, but it's a bit too big really to trade from, but we'll have to find something on the lower time frame. So these are our two zones we're watching today for rejections. These are our hourly supply and demand zones. So if we're getting up into these regions, we can look for potential rejections and bounces. Otherwise, I do still quite like this pre-market high area. Look at the level we had. We had this level in place from yesterday. We had a bit of a volume shelf there. It's an area of confluence, so pivots jump there, a gap down to that area, and pretty close to some pivots as well. What's that on the 29th and the 28th? So I do quite like this area for a rejection, 6100 pre-market high. Obviously, if we break through the pre-market high and we don't hold it, then I'll be looking for the break and retest into pre-market high at 6100. We do have overhead potential resistance where this point of control is. We've got area of confluence. You see these pivots here, bottoms of pivots, and then that's right before we had the gap down as well. So we do have another area of supply here on the hourly. Let's mark that up as well, and we'll keep an eye on. And this is a potential area where we could have a rejection. So basically what I'm looking for is where the market comes into high volume, an area of confluence, and then an area of overhead resistance and supply. So ideally I want to see the market pop in, come back out, and then come back and retest it, something like that. Pretty much the same as break and retest of pre-market high. I want to see it break out, come back and retest, and then get the trade that way. I'll also watch pre-market low for break and retest. And then our next area is this FOMC area. I'm not a big fan of these bottom tails, topping tails, bottom tails. But we could keep an eye on this region here. This is 60.40 to 60.50 for a potential bounce. 60.42, low of yesterday. I do quite like that as a bounce as well. So if we get back down into that area, watch for a bounce. Here's something, levels which have been in place for a while now. We were watching these levels yesterday as well. 60.38, 60.40. Look where we came yesterday in FOMC, right down into that level. And the same, this level we had marked up here. We came into that in the pre-market high today as well. So these levels are good levels. So they're still valid right now. So let's keep an eye on them. So keep it really simple today. We're looking for a break and retest of pre-market high. Break and retest of pre-market low, which is at 60.75 and 6100 area. Look for a potential bounce around this region, 60.40, 60.38, and then if we do lose this entire area, then potentially we've got this big zone here from the big sell-off we had on Sunday, Monday. So this is an area of demand, but we've got a big area, so we want to find something what comes out and then retest coming out of that area. And I think that's it for there. Obviously we can watch for this region here, 6130, for potential rejection as well, and if we lose that, we've got this area of overhead support as well. Supply, I meant. I think that's it. Let's quickly flick over to the order flow. If you want a reminder of the news, that's the news pending for today as well. I might make a change of that and like maybe grey out the news what's already happened, or put a line between current news and old news. But cumulative delta we were going sideways, same as cumulative delta. We sold off, and then we're in cumulative delta is in an uptrend, and the same for price. So nothing really obvious, nothing unusual happening right now. Areas of big orders, there's nothing. Look at this. So this is the volume order, so I keep an eye on this every day to see where all the volume is. We've got nothing really. 60.77, this area here, oh look at that, it just changed. 60.80. So they're probably watching this video now, said damn it, they found us, and they've just moved their order. But these are limit orders sitting there basically, and they're large orders. So basically I'm looking for large orders as potential supply and demand, or should I say support and resistance areas. And usually I'm looking for it if I'm looking for a rejection. So for example, we're smack bang in the middle of pre-market low and pre-market high, which is way up there, so not a very good place to find it. But if we see lots of orders, big orders coming in, and we're looking for a rejection area, then potentially we want to see that all that liquidity come out, come back down, and then look for our entry. That's kind of how I look for it, and that's why I like watching the large orders, because that's where the institutes are. That's it. There's nothing really to see on order flow right now. Keep an eye on it when the market's open. Let's go on to SPY next. SPY's pretty much the same. We've got this trend line, this hourly trend line. If we lose pre-market low and we bounce, and we've also got this volume shelf over here, so keep an eye on that. So we could watch pre-market low break and retest into that volume shelf short, and then we'll be breaking that trend as well. Otherwise, let's watch 605.15 for the break and retest long, and then our area of overhead supply is pretty much 608 to 609 area, this region here. So keep an eye on this area for rejection as well. And notice to the left that massive volume shelf just in front of that area. So we know that that area 608 was a previous area where we had lots of activity, lots of volume. So let's keep an eye on this region for potential rejection. And also it's a gap fill as well, so if we do a break and retest, we really want to get over previous day's pivots, come back, retest the pre-market high into this gap fill. So that's potentially on watch for today. And then if we get back down into this region, we can keep an eye on that level there, which is about here, 590, 593, and we've got a potential demand zone. It's quite a big zone, but this is why I like the volume profile as well, because with the volume profile we can fine tune where we want to watch within that zone. So 593 area, around about here, so we can potentially watch for a bounce around that area. If we come back down, maybe look for it to come back down, come back out, and put in some sort of change of market structure. And that's it really. SPX levels are pretty much the same as we've been watching. We've got another level we can add actually. Let's just make an adjustment to this level. That area there. And the reason I like that area is we've got the bottoms of these two candles, which is yesterday's low. We've got the tops of this region here. We've got tops of this region, bottoms of these candles there. Tops of these candles are a gap fill and a retest pivot. And we've got a little bit of volume coming in as well. Not a massive amount, but there's a little bit of volume. So I prefer that area, and it's a start. And I like putting my my regions at the start of where we've got volume coming. So that's the volume there. You can see low volume. It just starts getting a bit heavier volume. So I think that's a good area to watch for another bounce today. If we lose that area, maybe the break and retest low, but we've got to get through this, and we've got this gap fill as well. So potentially we've got a gap fill to watch for as well down here. That's it. So keep an eye on these levels. I'll only go long on ES if we're coming into a bounce area, and I'll only go short on ES if we're coming into an overhead rejection area. I never want to go long if we're coming up into that area, because it's going to be hard trying to get through that. We want to make it as easy as possible. So that's why I keep an eye on SPX. NQ. 1 second. NQ, we've got this trend line, and we've got this line here. That's not accurate. That area there, so just keep an eye on the break and retest of pre-market high to continue this trend up. We have a volume shelf, an area confluence at 21,877, 2,900, and it's also a supply zone as well. Let's just draw that in. So this region here. So let's keep an eye on this region for a potential rejection. We do have another supply zone above. Might as well draw that in while I'm here as well. So I'm watching for a break and retest of pre-market high into this region. Look for rejection back down. And then we've got yesterday's low, yesterday's high, and also pre-market low. We can watch for potential bounce. We've also got the point of control, lots of volume in that place as well, and we've got this area confluence as well. So there's plenty of things to like the bounce down here at 26.10, I think that is 21,610, maybe 21 down to 21,600, that region. So let's keep an eye on that area, and I'm going to put an alert, I think, down. No, I'm going to keep an eye on it anyway. I will have an alert down at 21,600. Maybe a little bit above it, so that it will draw my attention if we do get down there later. We're getting closer to it. Basically pre-market low bounce area coming off of this 50 moving average as well. So just keep an eye on this zone, 21,610 down to 20, where we are, 21,600, that area there. Okay, so QQQ next. And again, sorry, like all the others, we've got this massive area of demand down here. So if we do get down there, it's going to be hard, but we can watch. Probably won't get there today anyway, but we can keep an eye on yesterday's low on QQQ and NQ for a bounce, same as we are on ES and SPY. Pre-market high, break and retest, looks good, because it'll be over that pivot there. So if we get over, come back and retest. Looking for a long into this region, which is a rejection point, 528. I'm just updoing. This is our area of demand, of supply, and the reason for that is we've had a green candle and then we had a big sell-off. I like these areas, we talk about them quite a lot. If we get back up there again, last time we were there we had this big reaction. So let's see what happens when we get back up into that region again. Volume shelf is just starting as well, so that's why I like that area. It's not like low volume, so we've got a bit of a volume void below. So if we break and retest pre-market high, keep an eye on this volume void as well. There's a lack of volume above, so we could just run up into this region here, and that will obviously keep this trend going as well. If we lose pre-market low, it's a real messy chart. Next volume shelf is down at yesterday's high, that area there. So we've already bounced in the pre-market, but keep an eye on that area for a potential bounce. Something like that to continue for trend continuation. I do like trend continuations. Otherwise, just keep an eye on this yesterday's low area. We've got a volume shelf, just a little one there. Where's that? That is exactly at yesterday's low, bottom of those topping tails and bottom tails. We've also got the main point of control coming in as well. And big area confluence. Look at that area confluence there, area confluence there. even though mainly bodies, not the tails. Bit of an area there as well. So 515 is an area to watch for potential bounce as well. You could say that's our smaller. We could go down into the 15-minute and look for some better support and resistance or supply and demand zones. But let's keep an eye on this region here for a bounce as well. And then next up is oil. Look at that. Now that isn't a downtrend for sure. That's our downtrend. Yesterday we said if we can break that high, previous day high, then we'll be changing trend. Because remember we were putting in this pattern there. Looked like we were putting in a series of high highs, but only if we can break over that we can look for longs. And look, we didn't break over that, so we're still. Let's just zoom in a bit. There we go. So we were putting in these higher lows and even higher highs at the time. And I said keep an eye on a break and retest, which it never happened. So we're still in this trend continuation, and we're coming back into this region for a retest right now. So going with the trend, I do quite like the rejection around 72, probably still around 73. So I'm going to make a change, make an adjustment to that alert, just that level to 73. Bit of a cleaner number as well. So keep an eye on 73 for rejection, even though you can still watch the break and retest pre-market high. There's a little bit of room up, maybe if we poke through, hit the 50, come back down, but hard to go long on a downtrend in stock. So, but if we break the pre-market low, then let's keep an eye for the break and retest short. And then where's that trend? Okay, we do have a little bit of area of confidence and a volume shelf around the pre-market low area, so we could also watch that area for a bounce as well. We do have, let's draw it in. I'm trying to be stricter at drawing in my zones as well. We do have that area of demand below. You can see last time we were there we had this big reaction back up, and then what happens when we almost touched it, but if we come back into that zone we could see a bit of a more of a double bottom, and that's it really. We've got the levels from yesterday, we can watch them for rejections. Gold, it's doing the opposite to oil, showing us in a really nice uptrend, putting in higher lows and higher highs. You can see high highs and high lows. If we come back down into this region, pre-market low, we can watch for a potential bounce off of this area of confluence, tops of pivots. Got a bit of a volume shelf as well. So let's keep an eye on 2800, psychological number as well. So good area to watch for a bounce. Otherwise it's pretty extended. We're well into the 80 RSI as well. Last time we were up there, that time there we saw it pull down. That time there it pulled down. Up here it kind of hesitated, gave a few down days. But this is the last time I was in it big time with these two times. Let's have a look. Massive big down day, and then up here big down day as well. So, or down a couple of days. We are very extended away from all the moving averages. 28.30. You could watch for a break and retest. I'm not a big fan of it because it's so extended, and RSI is way up in this 80% area as well. So probably based on history, I like to think history does repeat itself, that we're going to pull back a bit. So the safer entry will be the break and retest of yesterday's high and pre-market low area. The high risk one, even though it's with the trend, will be the break and retest of pre-market high, unless we pull back to that pivot and maybe let's just zoom in a bit. If we pull back into this region here, which technically it was support, now it's supply, demand. If we come back into that area, maybe just go sideways for a bit, we can keep an eye on a break and retest of pre-market high like that. That gives us enough time for the moving averages to catch up a little bit, and then onwards it goes. We were looking at this head and shoulders pattern, which is now not a pattern at all, it's just an uptrend. RTY, bit of a messy chart. Not a big fan of this right now. You can see this defined level down here. Let's draw the straight line in. You can see if I put the pivots together, look at that, pretty much tops of candles, tops of candles, tops of candles, tops of candles here, bottoms of candles, bottoms of candles. So and we had yesterday's low, tried to get through and rejected that level. So let's watch yesterday's low, this region here, for potential bounce, 2280. Otherwise, break and retest a pre-market high into this overhead area here. Let's just draw a zone in as well, so we've got some reference. So we've got this area of supply, so that's our rejection area. We're quite far from it, so nothing to worry about just yet. We could have a little area here. Let's keep an eye on this 2330 to 2340 for rejection as well. Okay, so next up is YM. Is that somebody at my door? Give me 2 seconds, I will be back in 2 minutes. Right, my apologies for that. It seems to be Amazon loves to deliver parcels just at this right time these days. So YM, we've got this nice double bottom. I do quite like this area for a bounce. We're pretty much there right now. Otherwise, break and retest. I really want to say break and retest of yesterday's high. It's 45, 45, 100 to 45, 140, 45, 150, that area. And that's it. If we get down to here, we've got this area of demand, and we need a breakout over this area to continue the trend. And then finally Bitcoin. So we're right back up in this area again. Volume point of control is right there as well. Let's keep an eye on the. So this is basically a big area of resistance or demand or supply. Break and retest a pre-market low I do quite like. Maybe if we come back up into that area for the rejection down. Otherwise, trend continuation, break and retest a pre-market high over 105, 500, or watch below 104, 600 really. And then we've still got this pattern. And we kind of came back, we retested it, but we've putting in higher highs and higher lows, so I do quite like the breakout. I like the fact we might go long on this. So my bias is slightly long on Bitcoin right now, and so I'll be looking for a break and retest a pre-market high, but I will keep an eye on this pre-market low level. I think that's it. Market's open. Just look at my comments. Charles, good morning to you. Hi, hopefully you had a good day yesterday. Was okay for me. Another green day, which is good. Feel like I'm back on track again now. Maybe leave a comment when you come on every morning. Let me know how your day is. We can do maybe look at some previous day trades or do another session. That'd be good. So I'm always interested to see what other people trade and how they trade it as well, because not only does it helps me, I can also get new ideas as well. Okay, trade safe today. Market's just opened. Be patient, and I'll be back tomorrow at 9 AM. I'll also be on the live stream, which is this screen here. And so any comments or messages, please leave me a message.